Hello my friends and welcome to Practice English with Paul. Today it is FAQs for teachers, frequently asked questions for teachers. So I belong to a lot of social networking sites and I get asked questions all the time about how to discipline teenagers, how to maintain a teacher's presence in the classroom, plan lessons, etc, etc. And I want to sort of create these videos for YouTube to sort of help everybody around the world, not just on a one-on-one basis. I think it would be a lot more useful. And so this is the very first one in the series, and I'm going to share with you a question and my advice that I was asked yesterday by somebody who has just started in the teaching profession. And the question is as follows. If a student is disrupting the flow of your lesson and is attacking neighbours, can you send them outside the classroom until they've calmed down? Now, that is a very interesting question, and before I go into that, I'm going to make a clear distinction between state schools and language schools. State schools usually have their own facilities to deal with disruptive students and sending them out of the classroom. I used to work in state schools. I know for a fact that that is possible. However, I still don't believe it is the best thing to do as a teacher or dealing with disruptive students. However, the teacher who asked this question is working in a language school, and we're going to focus on this. Now, let's start with the sort of legal, so to speak, legal consequences of sending a student out of the classroom, student meaning child or teenager. Firstly, their parents have paid a lot of money for them to be there. So already by sending them out, the child is going to go home and say, well, I didn't learn anything today, I was sent out of the classroom. Parents usually think their kids are little angels. You're going to be the first person the parents will blame. They will not look on you very kindly. Secondly, you know, one of the sort of most serious consequences of sending a child out of the classroom, and it has happened, not thankfully with me in my experience, but it has happened, I know for sure, that the child went out of the classroom and left the school and basically disappeared. Maybe went home or went to the park, and the school had some very serious problems a little bit later. It's best to avoid that. You know, when a child is at your school, they are your responsibility. Some teachers have asked me, what about sending the child to the administrators? If your administrators are okay with this, then why not? However, I still don't think it's the right thing to do. Administrators have a lot of work to do. There's usually not much space. A lot of language schools are quite small. So really, I think you as the teacher have to deal with this. So this going to you as the teacher now in the classroom. When you have a disruptive child, ideally you should really keep them in the class until the lesson is finished and then deal with it. Again, sending them out for the reasons I've just mentioned is not a good idea. Now, if the child is, or teenager is attacking somebody else, or throwing paper or disrupting your lesson, to be honest, I'm not going to sort of blame the child so much, unless they have maybe a condition or something we don't know. But generally, it could be the child is bored, maybe the child has brought some issues to the classroom. Generally, when the lesson is inspiring, it's dynamic, the children and teenagers are usually occupied and they don't have time to play around and disrupt the flow of the lesson. And you as a teacher have that presence, that charisma, that dynamicism to keep the lesson going. And that's key, and that's vital to reduce disruption and, of course, you know, this bad behaviour. The problem is when you send a child out of the room, it kind of shows that the children have won. We like to test teachers, don't we? You know, we did that when we were younger. Children love to test teachers. I did it myself. We tried to break down our old chemistry teacher. I kind of really feel bad about that now, considering I'm a teacher. But by not showing that you're able to control what's happening in your classroom, because you know you're showing authority, leadership. You know, sending the child out, it weakens your influence, it weakens their respect for you, you know, it weakens their confidence in you as a teacher. You have to use other strategies to deal with disruption. And I will do a video on how to discipline teenagers. This one, of course, is focusing on whether to send a child out or not. So basically, to summarize, I would say don't send a child out of the classroom. Again, they can disappear, they can disrupt other classes, administrators. They're paying for the lesson, they're paying to be there. If the worst comes to worst, just separate the child, have them sit near you, keep them busy, keep the lesson dynamic until the end, deal with it at the end of the lesson, go with the child to the administrators or whatever, okay? And you know, work on your sort of classroom management to maintain that teacher's presence and that discipline. Okay, as I said, I will do a video about that later. So I hope that was useful for you. If you have any recommendations or your personal experiences, please share them. I'd be happy to discuss them with you by leaving a comment below. Thank you so much. Please like the video, please share and subscribe, and thank you so much for listening to me, and I will see you again soon. Okay, goodbye and good luck with teaching.